What if you woke up one day and you weren't you anymore? Not really. You're a copy, a clone, grown in a lab. That's exactly what happened to Subject 734. He opened his eyes for the first time in a sterile white room, looking at his own face on the other side of a glass panel. This was Dr. Eris Thorne, the brilliant geneticist who created him. The experiment? To see if a soul, a consciousness, could be perfectly duplicated along with the body. For the first few weeks, everything seemed perfect. Subject 734 was a mirror image of Eris in every way. He had the same mannerisms, the same laugh, even the same favorite brand of coffee. The lab hailed it as a breakthrough. They had duplicated a man. But then the nightmares started. Not for Eris, but for the clone. He'd wake up screaming, drenched in a cold sweat, images flashing through his mind. A dark, narrow hallway. The smell of damp earth? A child crying in the dark. A heavy wooden door slamming shut. He tried to tell the scientists, but they dismissed it as glitches in the memory transfer. Neural static, they called it. But 734 knew it was more than that. These weren't just random images. They were memories. Raw, terrified memories. He asked Eris about them, but the doctor's face would go pale. He'd get angry, defensive, and shut down the conversation. Eris claimed he had a perfectly happy childhood, but the clone knew better. He was living Eris's repressed trauma every single night. The clone realized something profound. The experiment hadn't just copied Eris's mind. It had copied everything. It had unearthed the dark secrets Eris had buried so deep he himself had forgotten them. The trauma of being locked in a cellar as a child, a punishment from a cruel father. This wasn't just a memory. It was a part of him, a festering wound that defined his very existence. He was the living embodiment of Eris's pain. And Eris, the original, couldn't stand to look at him. He couldn't stand the walking, talking reminder of the past he had so desperately tried to escape. One night, the screams from the clone's room were louder than ever. The next morning, the lab was in chaos. Subject 734 was gone. The reinforced door to his cell was torn from its hinges. But that wasn't the most shocking part. Dr. Eris Thorne was also missing. His office was untouched. His car still in the parking lot. He had simply vanished. Security footage from the previous night was corrupted, showing only static during the time of the escape. Weeks turned into months. The lab was shut down. The project buried under layers of corporate secrecy. No one ever found Dr. Thorne. But sometimes, people would report seeing a man who looked just like him. He was seen working odd jobs in distant towns. Always quiet, always keeping to himself. He had a haunted look in his eyes. The look of a man carrying a heavy burden. So what really happened that night? Did the clone, driven mad by memories that weren't his, confront his creator? Did he silence the source of his pain once and for all, taking his place in the world? Or did Eris, unable to face the reflection of his own buried trauma, simply run away, leaving his clone to live out the life he couldn't? We may never know for sure. The only certainty is that out there, somewhere, walks a man who is both the original and the copy, forever tied to the ghost of the man he replaced. What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, be sure to subscribe for more.